Hello, boys and girls. It is Mother's Day, Russian Mother's Day. Anyways, the 24th of November. So, congratulations to all the mothers out there. And hope all of you don't have to bury your children because of stupid things that stupid people do up in your governments. The U.S., well, let's see if we all survive the 20th of January. Me personally, this is just me speaking for myself. If I was in the military, say Lloyd Austin's level, and still had enough brain power to understand how close we are to nuclear war, and watching, in the case of Lloyd Austin, knowing his grandchildren would turn into radioactive dust, and never reach adulthood because of a senile old twat by the name of Biden and his clique of psychopaths that have really gone off the deep end now they have lost the elections. I mean, you're talking about talking off a ledge level for Sullivan and Blinken. These people have totally lost reality, and they're willing to throw their own children's lives away to get, I don't know, points with the devil. I'm sure it is, because after all, that is who they serve. Satanic Temple on Potomac. Stop. I coined that. I'll take credit for that. But something to seriously consider. That these people should probably be, I don't know, if I was in that position, I'd really be considering something extraordinary, like, say, house arrest, away from any levers of power until the 20th, or go ahead and allow the transition to happen now, because, that we're only talking about the survival of the United States, in this case, for the Americans, versus extermination by nuclear hellfire. Nothing major. Nothing major at all. I mean, these people are not just an inherent danger to humanity in general, but to the country they are supposed to be leading, because they are willing to destroy it. Now you got an idiot, two-star Admiral idiot Buchanan, who works for a four-star, one of those 44 powdered princes, warlords of America, and their 1,000-plus men staffs, full of 3, 2, 1-star generals and colonels and other ass lickers. Came out and said, the United States, but by the way, just so you understand, officers in the United States are not allowed to make public policy statements. That's right. Buchanan, I know you probably never learned this in the academy because or you slept through it or you've forgotten it in your stampede to kiss ass, lick balls, and try to get your $1 million career after the military. You don't get to make statements. You don't. You're in breach. And you should be facing a tribunal right now. And so should your boss. Not just firing, but a tribunal. So you got this nut job, Buchanan, who comes out and says the United States is prepared to exchange nuclear strikes with Russia. Well, he's in Washington, or maybe he's in Virginia, in Norfolk, whichever way. That's the first place that's going to burn in hell, because that's going to be the first big strike, is the capital. And how is your anti-aircraft systems? Because Russia's got tons of them, and the 550 can take things out in orbit, like satellites, for example, that you need for guidance. Oh, and ballistic missiles coming in. Washington doesn't have that. Nope. Patriot can't go that high. That's why he couldn't take down the Chinese air balloon that was in the stratosphere. Nothing could reach it. So think about that. Think about what this idiot and this whole cabal of idiots. I am very hoping that if the 20th of January we're still all alive, and the world isn't a wrecked nuclear ball, I'll probably still be alive. I lived far enough outside of Moscow to survive the initial blasts. All of you in the big cities are screwed. Not saying that we wouldn't be screwed in the long run. Well, depends which way I guess the wind blows. But, if everybody survives, or a majority of us survive, that this numbnut is going to be on the chopping block, along with a lot of other generals. Most of America's generals and admirals are wastes of sperm. I'll tell you that right now. First of all, as they've shown over and over, most of them have absolutely no concept of a military action, of how a war is fought. None. They live in their own little fantasy worlds. Second of all, they're nothing but scum politicians that kiss their way up into ranks or suck their way up into ranks. Yeah, I'll be crass. No problem. I'll be crass. Because these wastes of sperm are leading humanity to the end of humanity and are too stupid, too genetically dead-ended to friggin' understand that. They've spent their entire lives kissing ass and trying to get away from a responsibility to get up into positions where they can sit it out to the big bucks at the end. And by the way, yes, I've actually been on a Russian news program already, and they're asking, and on the Russian side, a lot of them are taking that as policy. So you want to exchange nuclear strikes? Okay, that's where you want to go. We can go there. And I'm saying, no, these dumbasses don't have a right to even mention things like that. He's out of policy. Now, does Biden blink? Well, Biden's a dead man walking anyways. That Satan spawn is heading back to hell sooner or later. As far as his little right-hand handlers, Blinken, Sullivan, Nuland, and the rest of that subhuman scum, I don't know. They may be willing to. You know, Nuland, by the way, I think I know one of the possible reason why she hates Russians so much. Most of you don't know this, but Nuland spent half a year on a very large Russian trawler, fishing trawler, working in the kitchen. Yeah, she did. Go look it up. So maybe the reason she hates Russians so much, she had a bad romance with some sailor or sailors. You know, women tend to hold that, and they tend to project. So maybe that's what's driving her hatred toward Russians. Some bad romance or some romance gone foul back 30 years ago. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. But most of you didn't know that she was on a Russian trawler back in the 90s. Oh, yeah. Gotta wonder about that, why somebody would do that. If you want to learn Russian, there are other ways to learn Russian than being on a fishing trawler out in the middle of the Pacific. So anyways, so we got this group of idiots. You know, personally, like I said, if I was in the military right now and looking at the extinction of America, because, you know, the military, the United States Department of Defense, I know you morons don't understand what the hell defense means. You think bombing other countries is defense. It's not defense. Your job is to defend America, to make sure it's still there. And you swear your allegiance to the Constitution, not to some senile old bastard and unelected officials that his handlers have placed, or are his handlers. So you best remember that. And this senile old bastard and his unelected handlers are going to make sure your children don't grow up. Because they've got another, 60 days to launch a nuclear war or get it rolling. And they're definitely trying their best for it. All of you better start thinking about that. You've got an elected president that wants to end this idiocy. And you've got a so-called lame duck who's far enough from being lame that he can still start a nuclear war. Which way are you going to go? And I'm not talking to the 4 stars. Their souls are sold to Satan a long time ago. I'm talking to the colonels and the majors. You better start, some of those 1 stars. You better start really thinking about that hard. Because you're running out of time. Once those nukes fly, that's it. And when you're standing before God and God asks you, what did you do to try to stop this, knowing that you could have stopped it? And you say, well, I sat on my hands and let a couple billion people die. Yeah, think about where you're going to be going consciously. And how much blood is going to be in your hands. I'm not telling you what you need to do. I'm telling you, you need to think about it. You can decide what you need to do on your own. Now, let's keep rolling. You've got another group of numbnuts. It was formed, I guess we're going to have the Second Northern War. So this cabal of idiots, first of all, in the cabal of idiots are the 3 Balkan midgets, the parasite statelets that can't live without having the blood and food of someone else, because they sure still can't feed themselves, Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania. Then you've got the Scandinavian, we're dying out nations, who are being very quickly replaced by foreign populations. If you've never been to Finland, well, Helsinki is a prime place, which is, by the way, half the population of Finland lives in Helsinki. It's like, 6 million people in all of Finland? So maybe not half the population, but about a third of the population lives in that one city. The first thing you notice is there aren't many children. And half those children sure as hell don't look like Finns. There is no bright future for the Finnish race. And the faster they get into a war with Russia, the faster their suicide ride, death ride is going to arrive at its stop point. And then you get Norway, which, by the way, yeah, it's an ideal socialist economy. Well, because it gets everything off of oil and gas, primarily gas. The problem is the gas is starting to run out. It's been declining for quite a while in the North Sea. So sooner or later, that little money pot's going to end. All the freebies are going to end. Those that 6 million or so people, or however live there, are going to have big problems. That fast and fun lifestyle with $12 beers, yeah, that's how much a beer costs in Finland, is going to come to a very, very fast end. And then there's Sweden with no-go zones and rape capital of the world. Or maybe it's the second rape capital of the world, but it's the rape capital of Europe. Stockholm with big no-go zones. Hey, Swedes, you're stupid enough. Hate Russians, and you do. Don't worry about the people inside your own country raping your women, raping your children, and murdering you. You're too smart to worry about that. Be afraid of the Russian invasion. So you get these three countries of morons with the three midgets. I understand why the midgets sell themselves out. They're whores. They've got nothing to offer anybody except as a Platsdarm for a war. Finland tanked its own economy, totally tanked its own economy, which is based on Russia. Buying Russian goods, selling to Russia. It tanked its economy. It's in the second recession in 3 years. The first recession was half a year, minimal for a recession. They had a little bit of a break from recession for about a quarter. And then they went into the big recession, which they haven't gotten out of. It's been, about a year and a half now? No end in sight. Finnish companies going out of business left and right, energy prices spiking. But hey, you guys get to hate us. Good for you. Hate us all you want. You're already turning into a second-rate nation. Pretty soon you'll be a third-rate nation. Keep chopping your own wood down, too, because your number one export is wood products. And you were buying that wood from Russia for cheap. Now you get to buy at least you do get quite a bit of wood from that fence that you're building up and down the Russian border. So you're chopping down about 300 meters wide up to about 1,000 kilometers long of wood. So But the question is who's that fence for? To keep Russians from coming to Finland? We live better than you do. Or to keep Finns, the new poverty class of Europe, from coming over into Russia? Check out to see which way the barbed wire is hanging, left or right. That'll tell you who's supposed to be kept in or out. And then we get the other nut jobs. We get Poland, who, go figure. I'm not shocked. You get Germany, who I guess needs to repeat another world war. Except the Germans, please understand, we're not leaving Berlin this time. The fourth time we have to take Berlin in 300 years. That's right, we took Berlin 3 times in 300 years. You never got into Moscow once, except on the coattails of Napoleon, and how well did that turn out? So it doesn't even count to you. The French were able to do what you Germans were never able to do, to take Moscow. Of course, we burned it and then butchered them, but that's okay. How many of Napoleon's little troopies got out? Yeah, like 10% of the Grand Army, half of which were Germans. Yeah, you didn't learn a lesson then, so you decided to come back a couple of other attempts. So you never took Moscow as Germans. We took Berlin 3 times. We'll take it a 4th, but we ain't giving it back. West Prussia is going to become West Russia. If that's the game you want to play, no problem. There will never be a unified Germany again. This project needs to end forever. Because any nation as stupid as Germany that started 2 world wars and wants to start a 3rd world war, by all means, why not? You just won't exist after this ever again. Never shall there be a unified Germany. Definitely should be a separate Bavaria, West Russia, and then the rest of them can break them down into little statelets like they were for most of their history. Then you've got the Netherlands. There's a powerhouse. And it was 200 years ago. And Denmark. Denmark, do you know what Denmark is? It's envy. Denmark is envious because they're the only nation that has never fought a war with Russia in Europe out of any. Let's see. Well, Portugal, I guess, never fought a war with us. So they're one of the only nations that never fought a war with us. And they want in on that. They want to feel a Russian boot in their teeth because they never felt that before. They want to feel what the others have felt. So they're really running for this. Oh, we want it. And then you got the British because, well, again, back to you Brits. Keir Starmer is going to make sure your children die off and you are getting replaced whether you like it or not. Because immigration's up, up, and away. So right now, he's going to make sure your men get killed off in a big war with Russia. How many millions of Brits need to die off before it's over for the English nation? And you Welsh, after all, you're new prime minister in Wales. She said, she's going to de-Welshify you to make sure that you're all-inclusive and there's no more Welsh culture. So the best way to do it is just to kill you off in a big war. Yeah, that's right. Your women will get taken care of. Don't you worry a second about that. All those immigrant males, fighting age, they need wives, and they don't need, they come from countries they don't take one wife. They'll take 3, 4. And there's going to be plenty of them around. Those grooming gangs aren't going to have to be grooming anybody anymore. They're just going to go off the street and pick up the women as they want. What a wonderful future for the UK. Hey, you voted for it. You tolerate it. That's the people over you. Hey, if they don't starve you, they'll breed you out. Well, first they'll kill you. Kill the males anyways, and they'll breed the rest of you out. And they liked raping boys too, by the way, those refugees. So, That's up to you. That's up to you. I'm not saying what you need to do. It's not my place to say what you need to do. It's all up to you. I mean, it's your nations. But yeah, so the UK now wants in on that too. And Iceland. Whoa, Iceland. How many troops is Iceland going to deliver to this little war? Russia saved Iceland twice. Twice. The biggest whores of all of Europe are the Icelandians. The biggest whores that could ever exist in humanity is Iceland. The Soviet Union saved them from bankruptcy once by giving them a loan. And then Russia saved them a second time when the bank crisis hit. And the British and the French wanted Iceland bankrupt and sold off. We gave you a big-ass loan, saved you, and you turned around within 3 years and started sanctioning us. Iceland is the worst nation that exists in Europe. It's the biggest sellout bunch of whores that could ever exist in humanity. History's, your actions speak louder than words. So this Northern Alliance, I don't think I missed anybody, but this Northern Alliance is going to dictate to Trump. They're going to set up such a condition that Trump cannot force any peace negotiations or cannot conduct any peace negotiations, only war. So you 12 morons are going to dictate to Trump on NATO, which, by the way, there is no NATO without the U.S. And the second biggest power, Turkey. And Turkey's not going to fight this war. They're making too much money. And the U.S. isn't under Trump isn't going to fight this war. But I think you might. I'm sure the Americans will sit back and sell you some equipment for whatever little money you have left while you try to fight the big war against Russia. You're welcome to. By all means. If that's what you really want, by all means, you're welcome to. We'll take you on. We'll see what's left of you afterwards. But even better, because European leadership is inbred and absolutely moronic, and the people support them, because if you didn't support them, they wouldn't be in power. I mean, let's just put it that way. The French have now announced that they're, fuck the Russian intercontinental ballistic hypersonic missile. We're not afraid. And they've given Ukraine a green light to use the scalps anywhere they want inside of Russia, which is good, because everybody hates the French anyways. They're basically the maxi pad of Europe, used and dropped. And Macron is not even something that you wipe your feet on. And Biden has wiped his feet on Macron, and Trump has wiped his feet on Macron, and everybody wipes their feet on Macron. As little Macron runs around and sucks his finger and tries to scream, "I'm the big Napoleon, I am Napoleonic." I am big and I am someone. That don't ignore me. I am important. I am Napoleon. Napoleon Macron. So as Macron wines and dines himself, mostly because nobody takes him seriously, this is a good thing, because a strike on France, probably nobody's going to go to war over France. But a nuclear strike on France would be something that would demonstrate resolve, even if it wasn't. First of all, these are going Mach 10. For all of you who cannot understand what Mach 10 means, 10 times the speed of sound, that's 3 kilometers or 1.2 miles per second. Per second. The kinetic energy alone in megajoules from every hit would cause massive damage in any city. You don't need to go nuclear. You don't even need to put an explosive charge. You just put a solid block into each of those warheads, gliding maneuverable warheads going 1.2 miles, 3 kilometers per second, and watch Paris start to rumble. And there's nothing you've got that can stop it. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. If this was a strictly ballistic missile, and all ballistic missiles, once they start coming down, are basically going hypersonic. Not very fast hypersonic, Mach 2, Mach 3 max, but they're going hypersonic. But if you got a ballistic missile, and you got enough warning, you could theoretically run the ballistic, you could run the ballistic formulas through the math, through the system, and try to throw something up in its path. Whether or not it would do anything is a very big question. And by the way, Russian hypersonics, they fly in an envelope of plasma, which actually does additional shielding. That's one of the reasons they don't burn up. Nanotechnology also makes carbon tubes on top of the metal, which also dissipate the heat. That's right, because we're white apes. We don't get to do science, except better than you do. Anyways, so but these are going Mach 10. They're not. They're going low orbit. They're not going into space. So we're flying through the atmosphere at Mach 10, which none of you can do, or even close to it. Not missiles, not aircraft. And they're maneuverable. So any formula you run through the ballistics computers and toss something up in the way, it just flies around it. And you ain't going to have enough time to keep doing that. So, there you go. I think France would make an excellent example. Everybody, no one likes them. There's still plenty of places that make it painful on the French. To make sure everybody understands this is serious. And everybody can go look, oh, okay. Yeah, okay, the Russians are very serious. They are going to use nukes. Well, it was only France, so we can save face and say screw the French anyways. But of course, if you're French, well, hey, that's your role in life. Some people are born, I think, with a mission in life to be an example to other human beings of what not to do. In this case, you have a whole nation called France that's there for the one simple the one simple reason to show the rest of the world what not to do. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm signing off. And in memory of Scott Bennett, a good friend of mine, I'm proud to call him a friend. May God rest his soul. He passed a couple days ago. So put a candle for him. He was a great fighter for the truth. He didn't carry any secrets with him. He laid everything out on the floor, on the table. He sent reports to the Pentagon, to the Congress, to the UN of everything that was happening. And one last thing while we're at it, the report came out from the UN, just to show how corrupt and in the pocket of Washington the UN is, on journalist safety in 23. And none of the Russian journalists killed by America, America's proxies, the Ukrainians, and all those mercs were ever listed on that list. That's all you need to know. God bless.